Salutations, travellers. Fortune has seen fit to deliver you unto my clutches tonight. Welcome to LARP Ghost, so named for that is not dead which can eternal lie. Tonight's topic is appropriately spooky, so without beating around the bush, let us address the skeleton in the closet. The unliving, the reanimated flesh, the unhallowed, that which lurches in the night. The undead. Ghosts, zombies, and other similar spooks and monsters have been part of human folklore since time began. Every human that has ever lived either has died, will die, or is in very deep denial. When humans of old told stories, they would look to what they knew, what was familiar, and what they could not explain. And what phenomenon could encompass all three categories than the great dance macabre that unites us all? Humanity has long attempted to decipher what happens to us after we die. And while we are no closer to deciphering that answer than we were when we first asked the questions millennia ago, our imaginations have been left to fill the gaps that science has left behind. The term undead was coined by Bram Stoker in 1897 in a little-known book about a blood-sucking creature of the night, whose name escapes me at this point in time. In his book, Bram Stoker, through the character of Van Helsing, explains the undead as this: creatures that cannot die, but must go on age after age, adding new victims and multiplying the evils of the world. For all that die from the preying of the undead become themselves undead, and prey on their kind. This definition, however, refers only to the creature that the titular antagonist of that novel refers to, the vampire. In the years since, the banner of undeath has expanded to include all creatures that have died and returned incomplete, and even those who have not crossed the veil at all. Ghosts, banshees, skeletons, revenants, vampires, ghouls can all now dance together under the same moonless sky. Now that we have defined what the undead are, we now get to the crux of this think piece. Why do we love the undead so much? Well, I think I have an answer. Though the face they wear and the powers they wield may change from interpretation to interpretation, the undead, at their core, remains a uniquely human threat. The works of Lovecraft excel at the inhuman and the incomprehensible, things so alien to our human experience that they leave us feeling puny and helpless in the face of an uncaring universe. However, the undead are an intimately familiar threat. Every single shambling corpse or haunting geist was once a living, breathing human being, just like ourselves. When we stare into the face of a zombie, we see ourselves, if only our fates had turned out just a little different. The main factor that links living flesh and that which decays is tragedy. Pure human tragedy. In almost every ghost story, the creation of a particular creature is a result of human error, hubris, or other failing. Ghosts are defined as people that died, leaving unfinished business that prevents them from ever attaining eternal rest. Zombies are often the corpses of loved ones puppeted with foul sorcery or infection that perverts and desecrates the form of a person that you once knew or loved. A vampire is a parasite that cannot live without preying on the weak and the vulnerable. Frankenstein's monster was a creature birthed into existence by the hubris of a brilliant yet deranged man. Almost all undead are immortal, in a way that they will exist eternally until finally laid to rest. In this way, the failings of humanity are immortalized. They are trapped with their sins for eternity. In a lot of these stories, this is done by another human. The act of slaying the undead, I think, is misunderstood in many works of fiction and role-playing games. Usually, your holy man cleric will wish to smite the foul undead monstrosities. But let's think of why. Do you think that a man of the cloth will look upon the face of a shambling corpse and say, "Sorry, Uncle Derek, time to send you to hell"? I don't think so. In my opinion, the act of ending a creature that has raised from the grave is less an act of wrath, but one of mercy. The undead represents mistakes and tragedy. Slaying them puts an end to that cycle. It is offering them absolution and forgiveness. Now, obviously, it is impossible to ignore the topic of religion when it comes to discussing the undead. While the institution of organized religion of the Church is a topic for another time, when viewed with the spirit of the Church, the parallels to forgiveness and redemption are clear. I believe that when you look at them as such, the undead are caricatures for these human sins, and not as just mindless monsters that kill. It is why the ending of the second season of Netflix's Castlevania was so powerful to me. Spoilers ahead. It ends with Dracula giving up his conquest of murder against humanity because he sees what a monster he has become. He allows himself to be killed, and in doing so finds redemption. Lisa, I'm killing our boy. Your greatest gift to me, and I'm killing him. I must already be dead. Now obviously this only works in the realm of fiction. If we examine these creatures for who they really were, Dracula murdered thousands of innocents and deserves to burn in hell. But that's not what the themes of the story are drawing attention to. When you see the undead as metaphors, you get a truly beautiful story about what it is to be human. Humans are capable of unspeakable evil, but also great good. Real humans aren't these black and white evil creatures. The struggle of brave hunters against the creatures of the night is, in my opinion, an analogy for the struggle between good and evil that we all face within ourselves. Do we acknowledge our imperfections, accept them, and work to overcome them? Or do we let darkness fall? I will finish by reading the rest of the quote by Van Helsing that I began at the start of this video. But of the most blessed of all, when this now undead be made to rest as true dead, then the soul of the poor lady whom we love shall again be free. Instead of working wickedness by night and growing more debased in the assimilating of it by day, she shall take her place with the other angels. So that, my friend, it will be a blessed hand for her that shall strike the blow that sets her free. With that, I end tonight's video. Please share with me your opinions on this topic, and enjoy your Halloween. Happy haunting.